Hi everybody, it is Chris Cowan with Craftin' Just Because, and I apologize for not being able to do the March Creative Rally project right away. My husband had an emergency surgery and ended up in ICU, and things were a little crazy there, but he's doing good. He's home, so we're just blessed to have that happen. But today's project is this cute little crayon box that you could put gift cards, movie tickets in, some makeup, things, anything that you want to give as a gift. And this is just a belly band that goes across it, and then it opens up like a crayon box. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Just to warn you so that we could speed, for the nature of speeding up the video a little bit, I did go ahead and pre-stamp all the pieces, which are the cupcake and this little tag. Oh, actually, I didn't. So we'll be making that part today. Sorry, I apologize. I thought I had. So first of all, we're going to need to bring in our Stampin' Trimmer, and with that, you want to have your score blade available, and you're going to take a piece of cardstock that is 7 3/4 by 9 1/2. So I've already pre-cut that piece of cardstock, and I'm doing it in Gorgeous Scrape. Sorry if I was off camera there for a minute, but we're going to go ahead and get started on scoring it. So on the 7 3/4 inch side, we're going to just score it at 7/8 of an inch. And what I do when it's less than an inch, I like to use the right side of my cutting board. So I go ahead and put it at 7/8 of an inch, and I'm going to score it, and then I'm going to flip it all the way around and do 7/8 of an inch again, just like that. And now we're going to score on the 9 1/2 inch side, and we're going to score it at a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to flip it over so that we can keep on scoring. Then we're going to score it at 1 1/2 inches. Oh, sorry, 1 1/4. I apologize, 1 1/4 inches. 2 3/8 of an inch. 2 3/8, 2 7/8, 5 3/4, 6 5/8, and then at 9. So I'm going to repeat those scoring. On the 7 3/4 inch side, it's at 7/8 inch on both sides. On the 9 1/2 inch side, it's at a 1/2 inch, 1 1/2 inches, 2 3/8, 2 7/8, 5 3/4, 6 5/8, and 9. Then we're going to just put our Stampin' Trimmer to the side, and you are going to go ahead and you're going to cut it as follows. So what you want is the side with all the score lines, the majority of them. You want that side facing you. And what you're going to do is you're going to clip to the first score line, and then you're just going to angle it out. So you're leaving part of that there, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side and angle it out just like that. Now you're going to skip to that, skip one score line and go to the next score line. And you're going to score to the first score line, and then you're going to score all the way down. So what you're creating is a flap. See how that flapped? And then you're going to take that tiny little piece out there. So we're going to go ahead and cut that out. Just like that. And then you're going to skip the next score line up to that other score line. So right on the other side of that box, and you're also going to make that one a flap as well. Just like that. And then you're going to cut out that little rectangle in the top. Okay, now we need to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and take this little rectangle off, just like that. we're going to make this one the flap, just like that. You're going to take this little rectangle out. And then you have to make this one your last flap. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So that's what you're left with, okay? Now we're going to come in with our bone folder, and we're going to score, or burnish, sorry, burnish all the edges. So I'm just going to carefully burnish all the score lines. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put your designer series paper down. And I already cut the 3 pieces that you need. You need one that is 5 3/4 by 2 1/4, one that is 5 3/4 by 3/4, and one that is 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. So the big one is going to go on the back. So that goes right here in the middle. And I'm just going to use my liquid multi-purpose glue because I have it handy here. And it also provides a little bit of wiggle room if you need to adjust where you placed things. So I'm going to go ahead and get that down, just like that. And then I'm going to add this piece right here. And then I'm going to add the last piece onto the front piece there. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to put the box together. So what I want to do first is these 2 flaps on the edges, they're going to fold in, and that's just for more durability. So I'm going to go ahead, you could use tear and tape for this, but since I already have my multi-purpose glue out, I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure that that adheres down. Just like that. And do the same thing on this side. The hardest part is cutting that box. Once you have that cut, the decorating and putting it together is easy. So as you can see, this is going to be the front of the box. We're going to fold in those flaps just like that. And what I want is I'm going to put glue on these outer 2 flaps, just like that, because I want that to be towards the back. So I'm going to go ahead and add some glue or tear and tape here, glue and tear and tape here, and then I'm just going to fold this up just like this, making sure that I have it nice and even. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and then what I'm going to do is I'll put my bone folder in there and make sure it's nice and glued down just like this. Now to make the flap, what you're going to do is you're actually going to glue these flaps down onto the side.